Rotary.
Good morning, Ralph.
Everybody happy to see the spring? Oh, we're going to start this over. Now we're talking.
There you go.
Is everybody happy to see the spring?
Oh, yeah.
All right, good. Wayne, can you start us off with our invocation?
Almighty God, author of all mercies, we, your servants, give you humble thanks for all your goodness and loving kindness to us and to all whom you have made. We thank you for our creation, preservation, and all the blessings of this life. And we pray that you give us such an awareness of your mercies that with truly thankful hearts, we may show forth your praise, not only with our lips, but in our lives, by giving up ourselves to your service in this world. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Of the
Things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Wayne, that was such a good job. Why don't you remain standing and tell us who's here?
Well, we have Richard Needham here from the airport. We have Corey Phillips here as a guest of Rob Nugent. Mike Fowler from Dave Graves.
Yeah, I want to introduce my friend Mike Kilbo. Stand up, Mike. Some of you know Mike, and he is the manager of our dealer commercial services meeting. He runs a floor plans for our whole system. I wanted to see the speaker today. Mike's former past president of the Conyers, Georgia Rotary Club. He was in my office one day, and I was looking at something. He starts reciting the four-way ticket.
Was there a question, James? There was a question about what you were doing?
All right, we've got a few announcements. I wanted to echo Chris Justice's comments last week about the baseball game. It is considered one of our rush projects, and even if you don't go, it's buy tickets, because we need it. It goes a long way as far as what the efforts provide. And it's April 7th at the ballpark, and it's a district-wide event, so it's great for camaraderie. And please go online and buy it. Who all got a ticket? Anybody? Yeah. I think we've got probably.
The company's using it. I mean, if you take my guys to lunch, we spend $1,000, and they give them a $10 ball ticket. They're thrilled. So I got 50 people coming.
That's awesome. And I think we need to get. We were supposed to sell like 70 tickets in our club.
We're up to anything.
Hey Dan. All right, I don't want to announce it, but yeah, it's got a lot of great initiatives, so we definitely want to, I have before, yeah. Chris Justice announced it. I have, yeah. But I'll send it out again, there's no problem. April 7th, and you can get tickets up till the 6th, so they're $10, and obviously we're going to support the Rush.
And what is the purpose of, why are we selling tickets to a baseball game? What is the money?
It's raising money for food, which is Rotaries Unite to Stop Hunger. Rush. Rotarians. Rotarians. What did I say? Rotary. Oh, Rotarians. Rotarians Unite.
We bring canned goods as well.
We're bringing in canned goods, and I thought who was unaware of the game? I don't see any hands, so while I'm answering questions, I don't know. But yeah, I know base amount of tickets are $8 and we're paying 10, so I know a minimum of $2 for every ticket is going to an initial. We don't know if it's Great Heart. We don't know where it's going. Do you know where the money's actually going?
It goes in the community.
But I mean, is there a certain food bank?
Food bank.
Are they one of them?
Yesterday.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, if it goes to harvest, we know $1 feeds 7 kids. So that's a start right there. Other announcements, I know, it's Matthew here. All right, Matthew.
Morning, everybody.
Thank you.
I rode out to Camp Carefree day before yesterday, and I'm not quite sure what that new road is, 73 or 74, the cuts from 158.
73, 74.
It is awesome. I got it almost in 10 minutes versus 45. So with that news, I expect to see everyone out there on the 14th, which I think is a Saturday, so 13 to 14. We're going to be doing a small, maybe small concrete tunnel. And it'll be formed up and ready for us tomorrow. All we have to do is back the truck up, right? We're letting the concrete fall and smooth it out. We're going to do a little bit of mulch work, fix a couple swings, and that's it. Camp's in great shape, and that's all I want to see this year. Looking forward to having everybody out. I'll send the slide sheets out later today.
Chip, do you have?
I do. I'm glad to be back. I took a little trip to Chile. I'm sorry that I was gone all this time. But when I got back, I found out that this had not been announced yet. So past President's Committee met in my absence. I understand that they sweated and toiled for hours and hours and hours to make some decisions about the $10,000 past President's grants. They had 16 requests. We funded all 16, some more so than others in some ways. But let me read these and then I'll send out the list and the total dollar amount, which totaled $10,050. The board gave us an extra $50, or somebody did anyway. USO, the USO, David Graves. New arrivals, Lewis, where's, hey, there we are, Buster. Thank you, sir. COV, who was that? Yeah, Dan, thank you for funding the whole baseball thing. I really appreciate that. Greensboro Tennis Foundation, is Mike here this morning? Mike Allen? Yep. Lionheart, Chris Justice. Operation Smile, Judy Brumley. I don't know, does anybody know how Judy's doing, by the way? I understand the operation. So, JDRF, Mike Conrad, Community Housing, Michael Gray, GoFar, Tony Villiers, Salvation Army, Lisa Simpson, or Bart, I'm not sure which. Youth for Christ, Tom Sears, Hope Ride, David Crabtree, Green Power, Blake Hunt, Guatemala Stoves, Hoffman, where's David? There he is.
No, Rusty.
Rusty,
That's Hoffman, not Hoffman.
you're right. You're right. Same thing. Jail Mentoring, Tom Nelson, and Enduring Gratitude, yours truly. Anyway, I'll send out this list and the total dollars and everything. I would like to say this. We've had as much as $20,000 to give away. This year we had $10,000. And it all hinges on the fundraiser, okay? And I'm sure somebody's going to talk fundraiser today, but this is a big part of why we do the fundraiser, so that we have cash to do this among all the other things that we do. And I want to point out too, that all these grants were to reward somebody in this club for going the next step. Not only everything they do in this club, but they're all directly involved, hands-on involved in these 16 charities here, and they're making our community better. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Chip.
All right.
I'm going to let Dale make an announcement about birthdays and anniversaries
Okay,
before we our big announcement.
okay, we have 2 birthdays today. Dennis Newman and James Hebron.
Happy birthday to
you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear James. Happy birthday to you.
All right.
Chris Neal will be celebrating a birthday on the 3rd of April. Now we're going to do Gate City Rotary anniversaries. Tony Villiers will have his 2nd anniversary with Gate City on the 30th. Dan Farley will have his 7th on the 31st. Walt Howell will have his 22nd anniversary on the 1st of April. And there are no wedding anniversaries.
All right, thank you so much, Dale. All right, man, with the show. After 22 years, you get to do a fundraiser, don't you?
That's right, that's right. Thanks for the perfect lead-in, Chip. Here's your dollar.
Don't let the glare get in your eyes there, Walt.
Chip made a great point. Basically, the money that we have to fund our charities with and all the things that you guys want to do comes from this fundraiser that's coming up. We've had a few people who have been working really, really hard, and we have some people that haven't done squat yet. The bulk of the membership, we've had several people donate some fantastic prizes. So the lottery tickets should be an easy sell, because basically anybody that buys one now has about a 100% chance of winning something. So basically, we need to sell a whole bunch of tickets, okay? Tickets to the event and raffle tickets. But the bulk of the money and the things that we're going to be able to fund these projects are going to come from sponsorships. So people, please work on the folks that you have talked with before, people that have bought sponsorships before. A great place to start. But basically, if nothing else, give your tickets to a friend. You know, it's a great little thing to do for somebody that lets them know that, you know, you're important to my business, you're important to our family or whatever. And it plants a good seed, possibly for a future member of our club, sponsorship, something like that. Let's see, David has been working really hard on publicity. We've got posters and handouts and everything now. There's also a digital version if you want to. Everybody got an email that they can send to their friends, or you know, they have a push email to all their contacts, whatever you want to do. But carry the tickets around with you, hit your buddies up, and we need to kind of make it happen. Past presidents need to be cracking the whip on your group. Everybody's responsible basically for $300 for the sales. So if you want to write a check and give the tickets away, that's great. But we'd really rather have you sell them, get a lot of folks there. You know, as this thing builds itself, more and more for our community.
Thanks, Walt.
Anything else?
Yeah, Walt, so the tickets we have in hand, are
Tickets
these,
you have in hand, these are event tickets. This gets you into the concert.
so these are the $10 tickets?
These are $10, yeah, I think it says on here somewhere $10. But at any rate, raffle tickets are $20. If you want a raffle ticket and a ticket like this, basically folks get it for $25. So you get a $5 discount if you buy one of each, you know, or any combination thereof. If you want just to buy a raffle, you know, if you want to buy one event ticket and 4 raffle tickets, then, you know, obviously, you know, you get the $5 discount, but, you know, you just get 4 more chances to win the raffle.
It'd be really great if you could go ahead and bring your raffle tickets and your money in, and using Dan Quinn as an example, neatly packaged in a... It really does.
To whoever's collecting it. I talked with Judy Brumley on the phone the other day. Judy, if you guys don't know, had a double knee replacement. And she has been, she was working incredibly hard before her surgery with a personal trainer that I know. Had a great surgeon, Andy College did her surgery and did a fantastic job, I'm sure. His ex-wife was Judy's trainer, which is, but at any rate, she was really prepared for it. She's been working really hard, just doing fantastic. She's way ahead on her rehab, and this is all you guys, and hopes to be back very soon. Hopefully, talk her to get back very soon. Right now, she's kind of going out for rehab, and she's still in a lot of pain.
Many men
But
work
we're-
too at a time.
Cool. Thank you, Walt.
No.
All right, 6 weeks, guys. 6 weeks. Plenty of opportunities for sponsorships. Let's make it happen. Any other announcements? Time for Rotary Review. All right, I guess it is. In honor of Mike, our guest speaker, what? No, I think it needs to be on.
Huh? Okay.
All right, that's fine, I'll give it to Dan.
Pass.
Dan, we'll do the following thing.
Yeah, I'll play.
Somebody here. Okay, here's the question. Listen up. Name something you associate with fitness.
with the 50s.
You want to
Fitness,
Oh.
like fitness pizza in my mouth.
Hey, can I have my beef ready?
Come on, Sam.
Alright, so start us off, Matthew.
Something to do with this.
Yeah, that's cool. Just give it one word. Ding, ding, ding.
What they say?
Nothing, turn it up, right here.
It said sweat.
Sweat.
There's 6 answers.
All right, that was our answer, we quit.
Running, number 2 answer. That is too wrong. Some specific.
No, we're not playing.
No, we're not playing.
We can't do it every time. We can shout out.
No shouting. All right, that's 3.
No sweat.
Bring it home.
We're going with pain.
Pain.
Wow.
All right,
Like beer.
yeah, health. Muscles and sport. Those are the 3 others. You guys agree?
Pain is weakness.
All right, Buster. Happy dollar.
Happy dollars, that's what I'm talking about. And let me just say this, and I want everybody to listen to this. You know, I've kind of gotten away with this. I used to spend hours and hours scanning newspapers, the internet, to look for any reference to you in your life, anything you did, anything your kids did. And so if your kids or spouse end up in the newspaper, you owe money. You got to say something. So I just want to put that warning out because you know what the punishment is. It's a $2, right? It's $2 if you don't confess. So anyway, Dan.
You like
I was gonna put $1 in, but now I just.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called the shakedown.
All right. Okay, the $1 I wasn't expecting. Somebody text messaged me a picture of the name Paul Farley, who was honored as a part of the JDRF jail. My in-laws were super involved in that. And so he was in the paper last week. I don't know when, I missed it. But Paul Farley also, I got some hard work on a day off. This kid likes to sleep till noon when he's not in school. So they're on spring break, and he's a high school student. So I dragged him out of bed at 7:45 the other day and took him down to Lewis storage, and he helped me collect some plants that Billy helped me set up for a destination. So I don't want a tractor trailer coming to my house, but my little budding bonsai business is up to run.
Budding bonsai. That's a great name.
That's a good name. All right.
No change. My daughter's a senior in high school at Caldwell. Next week is spring break for her. She's always wanted to swim with the dolphins type of thing. I see them in the waterway. We have a boat, and I'm like, why don't you jump in there? So my wife and her had a different idea. We leave to the Bahamas tomorrow on a cruise, and so she's gonna get to swim with the dolphins. You gotta pay them a lot of money to let them. I like my idea.
The economy trip. That works right.
It's down the intercoastal waterway. After that rousing speech about the raffle tickets, I thought I had to get up and say this. You know, I'm probably in the bottom 50% of people that sell raffle tickets. I mean, that's okay. I'm not proud of it, but you know, we've done
You seem proud of it.
a little. There's been a lot of research done about why people buy raffle tickets. And it's not so much that they think, I am going to win a $461 Powerball. What they do is they dream about what would they do if they won that prize. And that emotional entertainment, that psychic benefit they get is so worth it that they will pay that $20 price. Now, if you've ever been to a little Quickie Mart, down in Montgomery County on a Friday to get a six-pack of beer, you have to stand in line. There's 10 people in front of you buying a raffle ticket.
A lot of dreams.
You know, right there. It's here in Guilford County. So what I'm saying is, a $20 raffle ticket with these prizes shouldn't be that hard to say. Shouldn't be that hard to sell. And you may not realize this, but you think the world is either divided into actuaries and gamblers, but it's not. The same people who buy insurance also buy raffle tickets. So I'm gonna make a push this year.
All right.
Okay.
Chip.
Hey, Walt, don't let Jonathan scare you about not selling raffle tickets. He's been a generous sponsor in the past too, and we're hoping he'll be a generous sponsor again this year. So you don't
Really generous, super generous.
Yeah, super generous. But you don't have to just sell raffle tickets. You can sell sponsorships. There are a lot of ways we can raise money for the club. So that was, okay, I'm gonna do a two for here. Because I owe you on this one. So my wife was in the newspaper. Were you referring to my wife? She won this special award. She and Dr. Alvin Powell did a course through, it was a Mass General. It's actually sponsored by, or put on by the Harvard Business School, I think, Mass General and something, another group. But it was for health equity, health outcomes. And it was a year-long course, and they had, well, she and Dr. Alvin Powell were one of the top winners for the class of projects that are focused on how to improve the health for different parts of our communities which are underserved or don't have as healthy outcomes. So that was a nice distinction. That was in the paper yesterday. So
Yeah, that seems like worth more than $1. That's kind of sad. I'd hate for my wife to find out I'd only given $1. Well, two's a little too.
He's a banker.
Keep it out.
Find another happy dog.
We'll wait while you go to the teller machine. Matthew.
I have finally convinced my father to come into the light, and we have finally come to the technological world where we now have a website. David Graves helped us out with that. If you ever have any time, check it out. It's Foster Appraisal Services. It's awesome. It definitely looks brand new, and it's cutting edge. So
What kind of website is it?
it's a website.
For a walk.
Chip, welcome back.
I'm glad to be back. I'll tell you what. I just got back from 2 weeks in Chile. We went down to see Wilder. He's doing exceedingly well. Had a wonderful time. The people of Chile love to see you and your dollars there. They are apologizing for not speaking English faster than you can say, I don't speak Spanish. I mean, they want Americans there. They don't have much tourist industry, but they definitely have a winery on every corner. They have wineries in places that don't even have corners down there. So, the food is fantastic. They don't have many trinkets. We didn't bring back hardly anything. Got less than $300 worth of stuff that we brought back. But I was trying to buy some trinkets. They're these little wooden statues that make an obscene gesture when you pick them up. And they're everywhere. And they make them as big as your chair. And kids pick them up and they laugh. And then they make little ones. And so I was buying these things in this little curbside market. And I walked over there and it was 32 or 35,000 pesos. So I handed the guy 4 of these. And he turns and he looks and he goes, he counts them up and he looks at them and he turns to his mother, who's as far away from me as Bobby, and says something in Spanish, and she turns to this other lady and they're all up and all this is going on. And he's got this machine on this roadside thing and the light comes on and it's a counterfeit 10,000 peso bill. I look over here and there's a Chilean policeman about as far away as Buster is. I said, let me see that. And the guy hands it back to me. I ripped it up into confetti and threw it up like that and handed the guy another 10,000 peso bill. Here he says, what the hell are you doing? I said, the guy said it was counterfeit. She said, well, why'd you tear it up? I said, I am not going to jail. An American stockbroker going to jail in Chile for passing a 10,000 peso bill down here. And she says, my God, I can't believe you tore it up. I said, damn, it's only worth $16.20.
Get the rest of them up.
And then the guy said, just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding.
As you take their money back together.
LOL.
I better check that money, Buster.
Yeah.
The trinket is called an India Caro, and they are everywhere. And I found out they don't sell in India Viagra to make them work. So they were all crap, they were.
So Grandpappy said to me, he said, have you ever been typing a word and you spell it so wrong that spell check just goes, man, I got nothing on this. Yep. Yeah, everybody felt that.
Good morning, City Rotary.
Good morning.
I have the pleasure this morning to introduce two speakers. Before I do, Wayne forgot something. I have to introduce a not unimportant guest. I took Cynthia, my wife.
Oh,
I'll introduce the speakers as they speak. First speaker we have this morning is Chloe Ayala. As you all know, Rotary has a big program in youth exchange. Every year, I would say thousands of students move all over the world. There's two types of programs. There's short-term programs where a student goes like 3-4 weeks to another country and then somebody comes 3-4 weeks here. But for the real courageous students, they go out for a whole year, a whole school year. Some are really courageous and they go to a country but nobody ever heard of with an impossible language. And that's where Chloe went, and she's going to tell us about it. As you may remember, last year we had an inbound student here, Antonia, from Germany. And kind of the Rotary rule or the practice is when you host an inbound student, you also sponsor an outbound student. So Chloe was in fact sponsored, although many may have forgotten it, was sponsored by our club. And spent the whole last school year in Finland, of all places. So Chloe is going to tell us about her experience during her year in Finland.
It's winter in Finland.
Don't be nice.
No niin, hyvää huomenta kaikille. Minun nimeni on Chloe. What? In Finnish that means, good morning everybody, my name is Chloe Ayala. And today I would like to give you a presentation about my year in Finland last year. And I thought I would start it out with a pun. So, first of all, I arrived in Finland after an 8-hour flight from JFK to Helsinki. And I was pretty tired, but excited to meet everybody there because there were a bunch of exchange students just congregating in the airport. And I was finally in Finland after months of preparing, so it was amazing. This is just the view outside my airplane window. And the Finnair airplane was pretty cool. They also had blueberry juice that I got to try, so that was nice. Yeah. So my first week was spent in a place called Karku Evangelical School. And that was kind of like an introduction to Finnish culture and the way of life. I was pretty nervous because I didn't know anybody, but soon I found some friends and everything was okay after that. This is a picture of a sauna that was in Karku, and this particular one is a wooden sauna. And there were electric saunas and wooden saunas, but the wooden saunas were my favorite because they were like more traditional and they had a different feeling to them. But sauna is a big part of the culture there in Finland, and everybody loves it. And the thing that you do is you go in the sauna, it's like really hot, and then you go outside and you jump into the cold water, and then you go back into the hot. So it's like one extreme to the next. But it's really cool. So a few more things about Karku. While I was there, I got to try sauna for my first time, and I also got to try Finnish sausage, which is called makkara, and it's something that they like to eat when they go camping and things like that. I had a really cool Finnish teacher. Her name was Minmu, and she kind of prepared us, gave us like a basis for the language, and then it was really helpful because it taught us a lot of the basics of the grammar and the vocabulary. Instead of being like thrown into school and into our host families, we kind of had to start, which was really helpful. And on the last night of the camp, we all got together and had a party and danced and sang a song called Mayaman Toisela Bolin, which means on the other side of the world. So it was kind of an emotional night because we all spent our first week in Finland already, and we were getting ready to leave and meet our host families and start school. So it was emotional, but it was a really good night. This is a picture of me with a few friends of mine that I made at Garko. The girl right next to me is named Nora from Germany, and the other girl is Dora from Hungary, so Nora and Dora. So moving in with my first host family. After Garko, I met my first host family, and they took me to my new home in Jolas, which was an island that was about 15 minutes away from the city center by bus of Helsinki. And at first I was super nervous, but it was really easy to talk to them, so we got along really well, and they took me to my first real hockey game. This is a photo of my first host family and I. So my school was called Kulosaaren Yhteiskoulu, which means Kulosaari Secondary School. And on my first day, I remember when a student asked me, "Mikä on Pohjois-Carolinan pääkaupunki?" which means, what is North Carolina's capital? And I was so nervous that I just couldn't remember it for about 10 minutes. So that was a little embarrassing, but yeah.
It got worse as you age.
But it was an awesome school, and my favorite classes were my music classes because they were way different than the ones I'd ever taken in the States because there were so many different instruments. For instance, instruments from India and Africa, and a lot of unusual things. For example, the sitar. I got to learn how to play a few things with sitar, which I never thought I'd get to do. So that was cool. So life at Kulosaari was really great because it was an international school, and that helped a lot because everybody there knew how to speak English pretty well. It also was, like, there were positives and negatives about that because it made it a little bit harder to speak Finnish and like learn Finnish when everybody else could so easily revert to English. So I had to force myself to talk to my friends and be like, please speak Finnish to me. But it went pretty well as long as I just kept trying. I had really interesting courses in philosophy, music, and Finnish. And Kulosaari had a lot of cool things going on. And I think some of my favorite things were the porridge parties, because in Finland, they really like porridge. They have all sorts of different kinds of porridge. And there was one particular porridge party that we had where they made rice porridge, which it's sweet, and then you add cinnamon on top, and it tastes really good. And this right here is a picture of a puurobari. It was a porridge bar that they had open every morning in case you wanted breakfast. Also, summer cottages are a really big part of Finnish culture as well as the sauna. And my first host family had a summer cottage in a place called Kotka, which is on the coast. It's about 2 hours away from Helsinki. And we would spend the weekend there sometimes, and it was really cool. I never really experienced a summer cottage before. But one time, when it was about 3 degrees Celsius outside, so it was really cold, I went into the sauna, and then I ran into the ocean, and then I ran back really fast, because it was freezing out there. This is the view off of the island that the summer cottage was on. So one day, my second host family came and picked me up from my first host family and took me home to Heikinlaakso, which is a small suburban area about 45 minutes away from the center by bus. So it was a totally different perspective from my first host family's place. And before we went home, we went to the annual Santa Claus parade because they really like Santa Claus there. And they also lit up a big Christmas tree, and it was the 65th annual year that they had done this. So this is a picture of me with my host mother and host sister and my second host family. So I also got to go on a trip to Lapland during my year, and we went to a place called Muonio, which is above the Arctic Circle, pretty far up north. And I think it was, I really want to go back there because it was unlike any other place I'd ever seen before. We got to go husky and reindeer sledding, and we got to try Lappish foods. And one of my favorite foods was mashed potatoes with reindeer and berries.
Wow.
So it's an interesting combination. And this gives you an idea of what the landscape there looks like in winter. So it's pretty cool. I also got to take a trip to Estonia during my year, and the trip there takes about 2.5 hours by ferry. So it's really not bad. You can be there in a day and then come back. I got to meet up with my exchange friend Nora from Germany because she was in Tallinn, and we explored the old town and went to her favorite chocolate shop, the Kalev shop. It's the Estonian brand of chocolate. It's really good. This is not the best photo, but it kind of gives you an idea of what the Christmas market looks like in the center. More summer cottage adventures. My second host family also had a cottage on the lake called Lumene, and there's also a makeup brand called Lumene in Finland. So that's where the name originated from. And this kind of also is an example of the importance of double consonants or double vowels in the Finnish language because it can totally change the meaning of a word. So that was something that I had to get used to with grammar and everything. I also got to try drilling a hole in the ice with a manual drill while I was there. So that was cool. Yeah, this is a photo of my host grandfather while he was drilling a hole in the ice. So Vanhat is basically the equivalent of American prom, but it's different because beforehand you actually practice dances. We practiced for, I think, about a month and a half beforehand. We practiced the polka, some waltzes, tango. So we really had to get all the steps down because it's kind of like a performance, and all the families come to the school and watch, and everybody dresses up really fancy. So it was fun. And yes, and this is me with my friend Sakari. And I'm wearing my host mother's prom dress that she wore while she was on exchange in the States. Yeah. So after 3 months, I was ready to move again, and this time with a good friend of mine. I met her while she was on exchange here in Greensboro the year before, and then I went back to Helsinki, and that's where she lives. So she and her family offered to be my third host family because it was a little uncertain, the situation with my third host family. But I was like, yes, that would be amazing. So I got to go live in Kamppi, which is directly in the center of Helsinki. So it was cool because I had a family that was about 15 minutes away, then 45 minutes away, and then right in the center of Helsinki. And this is me and my third host family. So St. Petersburg was one of the places that we got to go to with Rotary, and it was my favorite tour by far, because while I was there, I got to make some really close friends. At one point, we were walking around in the city, and we got a bit lost, so we took a wrong turn. But so we had to run back to the bus really fast, otherwise we would have been late. So that was a little scary, but it was it was an adventure. And each night we got to play card games and hang out, so that was fun. In March, my family came and visited me while I was in Finland, and that was great because I got to show them where I spent my year, and they got to meet my families, and we got to see like all my favorite spots in Helsinki. This is all the fams. So in April, I turned 18, and this started really early in the morning, at 6:30 in the morning, because my host family came in and said, "Babion omnia Chloe," which means congratulations, Chloe. I was like, what? They gave me cake for breakfast, and then in the evening we went and ate at a Mexican restaurant. This is Paula and me hanging out. Happy birthday. Vappu is the 1st of May celebration in Finland, and it's just a lot of partying basically. Everybody's really festive, and they have these special graduation caps that they get after high school that everybody wears. So we woke up in the morning and made some donuts to start out the day, and later on in the day we went to the Haavisamanda, which is a famous fountain in the city center, and they put one of the white graduation caps on top of the fountain, and everybody cheers. So there's everybody with their white caps on. So all in all, my exchange was the best year of my life, and it really impacted me a lot and changed who I am and the way I look at the world. One of the things that changed most is that I am now a more social person. I'm also more confident, and I have many friends around the world, and it also made me never want to stop exploring and having new experiences. Nyt minä vain haluan sanoa kiitos. That means I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all involved in Rotary for giving me this opportunity and helping me through the entire process, because I never felt like I was on my own. I always had somebody there to help me, and that was a really good feeling. And I just want to also say thank you to all of my amazing host families, because they were the ones who really supported me while I was over there too. I will never forget my year. Thank you.
We're going to change things up just a little bit, and I'm going to ask Michael if he'd be as kind to come back on another day where we could learn a little bit about F3 and to allow Chloe a little bit of time to tell us or just answer some questions, because I know there are a couple pin-up questions from the presentation. Michael?
I have two. Are the Finnish people really as happy as all the surveys and studies show? And also, what did you observe, and why do you think they are that happy?
I think in general that they are as happy as the surveys show. I think it's because their country is just very unique, and they place a lot of importance on nature, I noticed. So I feel like even if they're in a city and they live like directly in the center, you know, they make time to go outside and really enjoy it. So I think that's one of the main reasons. And they don't really talk a lot, but but they're really cool people, and once you start talking to them, they'll be happy to talk to you.
Did you miss the party slides that she kept on the parties?
What were you drilling the hole in the ice for?
Good question. So that's for in the winter. They swim in the ice hole. Like they make a hole in the ice and then they just swim in it.
Very small hole.
Yeah. They have to drill several holes in a circle and then they break the ice. And and then after that they swim in the ice and then they go to sauna. So they're very extreme with their sauna experience. Yeah.
So you use sauna like a verb, is it?
It's both. Yeah, but they in Finnish they do have a verb that it's like called sauna. It's like to sauna, going to sauna. So yeah.
Like to run.
Yeah.
How hard was it to learn the Finnish language? And do you feel like you could converse at this point after a year?
It was pretty difficult because the grammar in general is just so much different. They don't really have articles like the, and, over, across, that kind of thing. instead they add endings to a word, which is why when you see the language written down, sometimes the words are just like really long. So I think that right now, my Finnish is getting a little rustier since I haven't been able to speak it much. But when I was there, I could speak really well with conversational stuff. So, yeah.
Where are you, or are you in school now? What are you doing, and what are your plans now?
Yes, I am currently a freshman at UNCG, and I am an exploratory major, so trying to figure out what my actual major will be. I'm also working here, actually, in the restaurant at Green Valley Grill. So, yes.
Can you tell us about the Santa Parade and what all that's about?
Yes. So every year they have a tradition where somebody dresses up as Santa Claus and they just parade around the city, and Santa like sits on this like fancy float thing, and it's just kind of a fun Christmas time tradition. And there's this this square in the center, and there's a big Christmas market there. They have stalls there and everything, and then they set up the big Christmas tree, and everybody hangs out. So it's fun. Yeah.
Hey, Buster, you got a job, man.
Do you plan to study abroad while in college, and if so, where do you think you stay?
Yes, I do. I'm hoping to go actually back to Finland if I can next spring. So
Okay.
yeah. Any other questions?